Let you go right into it, Coach.
Thank you. Well, a great Saturday afternoon game in conference play. Step one, tremendous support today in the arena from our fans. It was a great environment. Couldn't have got anything done without them. That's the first thing. They hung in there. They hung in there with us through a tough first half too. But got a great environment, and ultimate respect to Mason, their kids, their staff. They got an excellent team. They are really, really hard to play against. Tremendous size, and we really didn't have any business, really winning that game for a long period of the first half. Like, it could have gotten away from us. I thought Cam's three probably saved us maybe more than we realized at the end. But in the first half, we had a hangover effect still from the Tuesday afternoon experience at Duquesne. It looked the same, it felt the same, the body language, the eyes, the communication felt the same. And I think the message at halftime wasn't basketball as much as it was our togetherness, shake us up. We've got to give each other more energy. We have to have a little bit of spirit. When you play against really good teams, it's not going to be pretty sometimes. And, I think we won all 4 segments, all 4-minute segments in the second half. We had 5 4-minute games that we wanted to really just concentrate on winning 4-minute segments. We won all 5. And we had a great fight about us. And then it just came down at the end of the day, our home court, guys making some big plays when we needed to. I thought Javante's post defense, huge deal, 6 block shots. His 7 defensive rebounds, 13 rebounds in particular. Javante's presence was really big. Sebastian obviously speaks for himself. I mean, he's the ultimate gamer right now, confident. Bailed us out there in the last play with a great play. And I thought Jaden was big. Jaden House was really big for us. He reemerged for us. We haven't had him here for a couple weeks. We're searching right now for some perimeter consistency. And I thought in the second half he was much more spirited, much more aggressive. And we got to get more of that from him. And then drawing a play up for Quentin for the game winner. That was all the coach, right? I give him credit. He's been on the back burner, and of nothing with him. It's been like a 50-50 toss-up for a long time about how we incorporate him. And he's going to be incorporated now from here on out. He's a bigger body for us. Athleticism is there, and I think if anyone who's been around our program knows he deserves an opportunity right now. And I think without thrusting him in there, I don't know if we win the game either. So credit to our players, credit to Mason, very good. They're going to have a fantastic season. They got a great team, and very thankful just from our program in general about the environment today and our fans. It was big time. Thanks.
Quentin hasn't played since November 24th. It's been quite a while, and
he's aware more than me.
Practicing the game speed are a little different. First of all, what made you put him in? Has it been what he's been doing in practice, or what was the thought behind it?
There's 2 reasons. Number one, it's what guys aren't doing, earning, and there's what other guys need a chance. Every team goes through phases of the season when you're getting some chemistry and rhythm, and I think that's how we started. When things aren't going as well or you're not getting enough consistent play, you need to find different answers and firepower, and I think the greatest motivator in the world is inserting a guy like Q who deserves an opportunity, and some other guys can sit and watch at times. We have no problem doing that. And I think our entire locker room bench was thoroughly excited for Q and his opportunity today. Did I expect him to really make a big dent? I expected him to play hard. I expected him to rebound. Obviously, he hasn't been in there, so it's tough to evaluate in terms of like everything. But moving forward, we'll have confidence in Q. Probably should have kept it at a 10-man rotation for this simple purpose of conference play. We need more guys.
He's very physical defensively. He was really doing a good job on Maddox.
Yeah, he's good.
You speak to the Sebastian's last play. I don't think anyone thought he would pass it. He had to go right. Made obviously a very difficult shot, but I'm sure that's exactly what he wanted for.
Yeah, we just did. We at the end of the day didn't want any ball screen. We didn't want anyone near him. I think at times that can really bottle you up, put you in a situation where you can't go. Get everybody away and just let him get to the rim. And to his credit, going right, he can really draw a foul. He can dip his shoulder. He drew the foul. I didn't think they were going to call it, but the ball looked good going up anyway. And he's a gamer, man. He's having a storybook season as his chapters continue to go. He practiced his ass off the last 2 days, as did Dave Green on a bad shoulder. Both of those two guys are our spirit, energy, confidence givers. And when they come to work after a bad loss or whatever it may be, it's hard for anybody else not to step up and keep playing, which is why I was surprised in the first half, so to speak, why we weren't in a better rhythm. But our competitive spirit was there today, our fight was there today, and I have absolutely no problem, with how we fought through the adversity and got to a level where we could actually have a chance in this game, and it's a credit to our team. Free throw line big, obviously last play with Sebastian, he's a gamer, has nothing to do with us as coaches. I think inserting Q here more is going to help, and I just think in general, I thought Javante around the rim, we hadn't seen a guy like Jalen Hayes in a long time with that type of mobility, scoring presence around the basket, and I think that helped us, in terms of being able to do that. So we had some guys step up and play, but just happy for our guys. I'm proud of them.
And we've asked this question every couple of weeks. The Sebastian we see now versus the one 2 years ago, it's like he makes giant steps almost every week.
It's funny because back in the day, you used to be a freshman, a sophomore, and then you became a senior, and everyone kind of saw that. Everyone sort of goes, I remember how he came in, and boy, I remember how he left. What a great story. What a great way to develop at a school. What a great way to, like you watch them grow up from 17, 18 years old, and they finish at 20. And I think I'm glad that he's finishing here, so everyone gets to enjoy that with one little missing year under his belt, so to speak. But I think we used to take for granted watching a guy like Sebastian come in and give him an opportunity to struggle, watching him develop and become the player that he is now. That used to be college basketball, and we forget about that sometimes with young kids. Now, so much of it is, do they even make it with you past 18 months after their struggling young years? That's why so many guys are catching old rosters. And no offense to George Mason, they've done a great job constructing their roster, but they ain't have very many young guys running around out there today, and it's the name of the game. But Sebastian, yeah, happy that everyone gets to see that transformation that he's put into work, but he's a confident guy.
Archie, you had some timeouts in your pocket late. What's the tipping point between, hey, this possession's getting away from us, I don't like what I see, or, hey, let's let the guys play through it, maybe somebody will get a shot?
First half or second half, you talking?
Second half.
One thing about George Mason is when you call timeout, they change defenses. So in some cases for your players, the defense that they see coming down the floor is the one that you can control for them the most in front of your bench. If you call timeout against Mason, you may have to prepare them for a matchup, you may have to prepare them for a 1-3-1, you may have to prepare them for a set play, and at the end of the day, the possession goes to hell anyway because you don't know what's going on. Wasn't definitely calling anything on the last play because of that. Didn't want them to switch defenses on us, and we had the ball in Sebastian's hands, and at the end of the day, get out of the way, drive the ball to the rim, make a play. It's going to be your best shot. And but could have called timeout, I think, a few times in the second half, but we were able to get enough stops to keep it in a workable margin. I thought we would need them, maybe down the stretch, but in other games, maybe when the fastball's coming on every time, you know what their coverage is, you know what they're doing, you can call some sets. In this case, you're not as comfortable with Mason doing that just because I think they change a lot and can come out and you didn't get the look you wanted anyway.
For Jaden, he didn't score. He scored, but he didn't have a field goal. But he took it upon himself in the second half, especially guarding Braden. How much of that buy-in is that this year as opposed to last year?
We have to get him going offensively. I think first 8, 9, 10 games of the year, you look at the stats and you're going to look at the numbers and you're going to be like, it's house. In our last 4 or 5, he's went missing on the offense of end of the floor. And, I think at the end of the day, there's twofold with that. It's how you prepare every day. It's how you attack every day. And then, once you get in the game, mentally being ready. And I don't think in the last 2 or 3 weeks he's been as good in that area. And it's cost him as he's entered conference play where he's a little bit searching. What we talked about after Duquesne with him, and in particular, is, stepping up in other areas in terms of like the reflection, that the guys on the team need to see you. They don't care if you score, but they definitely need to see you engaged. And he changed the course of the game a little bit when we were able to put him on, Braden, because we didn't really have an answer for his physicality. He made a big play on the last one, but I thought for a good stretch there we were able to contain him. And that's what House can do for us. You know, he can be more than a scorer. Now we got to get him scoring again. Our offense here is starting conference play here, and I'll put it on me, but we have to do a much better job right now of adjusting to coverages and doing things in the game. We are struggling offensively, and it's affected our mindset. You know, it's affected who we've been. Today in the second half, though, we were more about, I thought we looked more like we had been.
And much more at the foul line, obviously, in the second
Yeah.
half. What was the, you know, maybe if you made one adjustment there to get more contact at the rim or in the paint, what was it?
You know, I think from our standpoint, we wanted to go to about 3 or 4 guys in the second half exclusively and call their number rather than let them play. We've been tough. We've been tough when we can get the ball to the right guys in the right spots, whether it's Dave or whether it's Bassie or whether it's Javante getting on the, whatever it may be, we want to control it a little bit more for him, because in our last 3 halves, Duquesne half 1, Duquesne half 2, half George Mason, it's the worst offense that we have put on the floor all season long in 3 halves. And a lot of it has been due to the fact that we are trying to play a fast tempo. And we are relying on our guys to do what they're supposed to do. And in both cases, the coverages in these last 2 games have really just kind of like froze us. We have not been able to adjust or react or properly execute. And that's why it looks like it scored in like 10 minutes. You know, you can't make a layup. Like, what's going on? It messes with you. And when the ball's coming down our way a little bit here in the second half, I think we made a concerted effort to kind of stay out of the play the game freely way. And let's see if we can't get it where we need to get it. And I thought the foul line played a big role in that. It always does for us. I mean, we took 2 free throws in the first half, I think. 2 for 3? Or were we 2 for 3 and a half?
Yes.
I mean, we shot 17 free throws in the second half, which was much better.
What's gone into your home record this year?
Sebastian. I mean, he's, you know, at the end of the day, when you're in these 50-50 games, possession by possession, last 2 or 3, you know, he's answered the bell on a couple big-time separating plays. But in particular at home, and I always stress the crowd and whatnot, and I always stress our fans how important it is, we have a different spirit about us defensively at home. We've been able to get down. We've been able to claw our way back with our defense. It hasn't just been shot making or it's been great offense. We have been able to do that all year, and you have to be able to do that at home to hold serve. You need your playmakers to make plays, but when you're at home, you have to rely on the energy of the building and your defenses to do that. And I think, especially in the second half, defensively we showed that spurt ability where you can get some stops, you can make a couple key plays, boom, 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 you're right back into it. That wasn't present early in the week. You're on the road. When we go on the road, we haven't really had that confidence that our defense has been as good. At least on Tuesday it wasn't, but that answers your question. It answers your question. But I think if you look at some of our best wins of the season here with Yale, it's been a comeback. It's been a grind. If you look at Providence, it's been a comeback. It's been a grind. And then it comes down to the 4-minute game. You know, can you win that last 4 minutes? And most of the time when you have the best guy, numbers go your way. And he's been the best guy for our team. But in those clutch moments, he's delivered.
Javante said getting outscored in the paint like that in the first half, he took it a little personally. I would imagine that was part of the halftime message as well.
We probably smoked 6 to 8 layups in the first half between him, Drisa, back cut, layup miss. We didn't make a few that we need to make, which we maybe have made in the past. But I think, what were we? If you just look at first half from 2, in the first half from 2, what were we? 4 for
19.
From 2. And we're not shooting a lot of pull-up jumpers now. They're at the rim.
Yeah.
I'd be better in that area. And I thought in the second half we were more forceful around the basket. We're still not, and Javante in particular, isn't playing physical enough around the basket. You can tell we're having to adjust to conference play right now. It's been way more physical in these last 2 games than it's been all season. Not close. The contact around the basket, the shot blocking around the basket, the getting the ball from the ground to the rim is hard. Like, it's just, Duquesne's terrific on defense and Mason. They're both big. But we got to finish a little better. I think Dave had a tough one around the rim today. Javante, those two guys were 5 for 17 from the floor and a lot of twos. So our physicality's going to have to keep going up. And today's game, we knew that was a big part of it. But I thought our physicality on defense, especially in the second half for Javante, he was great around the basket today. I mean, 6 block shots, one of the biggest difference makers in the game. All good?
Thank you all very much.
It's good to see everybody again. Guys, back